Once upon a time, in a small town on the edge of the forest, lived a young student named Anna. Anna moved into an old house that she had rented with other students. There was always a gloomy atmosphere in the house, and the students often heard strange noises at night. One evening, as Anna was getting ready for bed, she noticed a strange reflection in her mirror. Instead of her face, she saw a dark, blurry figure. Frightened, she quickly turned off the light and crawled into bed, hoping it was just her imagination. The next day, Anna told her housemates about it, and they decided to do a little investigating. It turned out that an old woman had lived in the house many years ago who claimed that the shadow in the mirror was the spirit of one of her long-dead relatives. The students decided to install cameras in Anna's room to try to catch this mysterious figure on video. A few days later, they watched the footage and were horrified. The video showed the shadow in the mirror beginning to move and emerge from the mirror at midnight, becoming more and more apparent. The students decided to seek help from psychics and exorcists, but none of them could get rid of the shadow. They realized that they would have to find their own way to deal with this sinister spirit. Anna and her friends began to study mystical books and found a ritual that could help them get rid of the shadow. They performed the ritual, and eventually the shadow disappeared. Before it disappeared, however, the shadow left a message on the mirror, blood-written text that read, "I will return." Since then, Anna and her friends have lived in fear, waiting for that ominous shadow to return to them. After the shadow disappeared, Anna and her friends thought they would never see it again. However, a few days after the ritual was performed, strange things began to happen in the house. The students heard strange rustles and noises at night, and they noticed that objects in their house began to move without their involvement. Anna and her friends were frightened and didn't know what to do. One night, Anna woke up to someone breathing in her ear. She opened her eyes and saw a shadow standing next to her bed, looking at her. She closed her eyes and cried, afraid to even move. The next day, Anna and her friends went to the local priest to ask for his help. The priest spent the day reciting prayers and casting out the ominous shadow. Eventually, the shadow disappeared, and the students finally felt safe. Soon after, however, Anna began to feel that something was wrong with her. She began to forget things that had happened recently, and often noticed that her thoughts were mixed up. She began to wake up in the middle of the night, frightened and shaken, not knowing what was going on. One day, Anna happened to find a recording of a ritual they were performing to exorcise a shadow. She realized that they had done something wrong and had broken the rules. She decided to perform her own ritual to correct her mistake. She gathered all the necessary items and began reciting prayers. In the middle of the ritual, however, the shadow returned again. Anna was startled, but she did not stop. She continued reciting the prayers until the shadow disappeared again. However, after the shadow disappeared, Anna felt something come out of her. She fell to the floor, splashing blood from her nose and ears. Her friends tried to help her, but it was too late. Anna died the same day. Since then, no one had lived in the house they had rented. People who dared to enter the house said they could feel the shadow following them, and that they could hear her whispers in the silence at night. Therefore, the house was left empty, and the locals avoided it. It was a story about how one mistake can cost you your whole life, and about how some secrets are better left unsolved.